Again, this month we continue the talk on Buddha nature. We've been using the image of the lotus, right? See the lotus growing in the mud and the muck, the suffering of life that we all are a part of. Growing through this murky water is a beautiful flower, the lotus, right? Which has always been there, maybe just hidden. And that imagery of the lotus is the Buddha nature, basic goodness within each and every one of us. Right? And last week, Pema Chodron reminded us that our Buddha nature is obscured by these thoughts and perceptions that we have. Right? Just passing clouds in the sky. Right? As we sit in meditation, meditation doesn't create the sun. It creates the space for the clouds to pass through, to allow that sun, which has always been there, to shine brightly. I was listening to a podcast not long ago, and a wonderful story that this gentleman shared, I want to share with you, about a stone that he painted. Many years ago, he was with a gathering of other Buddhists, and part of one of their projects that day was just to paint a stone. So he picked out a stone and he painted it, and he painted a little image of the Buddha on it. He took it home, put it in his garden. Years go by, his kids are getting older and whatnot, and he's out of town, and his daughter calls him in tears. Dad, the stone, the paint is off the Buddha stone. And he said, finally, the stone is revealing its own Buddha nature. Right? The stone was always there, but it was just covered up by this paint. Right? And some people may look at that object and be like, oh, there's a stone with paint on it. Others may look at, oh, there's a painting of the Buddha. There's, paint on a stone, right? There's different perceptions, different ways to view the same object. But at the end of the day, we have a stone that has a circumstance to it. But the stone was always there. And I just think it's a wonderful example of, our Buddha nature always being with us, especially when we don't know it. And this recognition that it's always there, it doesn't come up in some dramatic way, generally. It's not some flash of lightning that says, oh, look, I got Buddha nature. Right? It shows up quietly. In these small ways, sometimes seemingly unnoticeable. Maybe we're pausing before we're reacting. Maybe we're reacting a little bit differently than we used to. Right? Maybe we're responding softer with less anger, or even no anger, to a situation that we used to get very upset about. Maybe it's our willingness to listen. There are those moments of just genuine presence, when we can just be with whatever it is. These are those signs of the lotus blossom. Again, this flower, this concept of Buddha nature, it's not somewhere else. As the Buddha said, don't seek without, seek within. And it really does unfold the way that we meet this moment, and this moment, and this moment. And we really, as we're in each moment, really paying attention, not overlooking those small shifts that take place. those quiet opportunities that don't feel as dramatic as maybe we'd like it to be. Those are the very deep, meaningful moments. So for our reflection today, I'll offer you this. Where have you noticed even a small moment of growth, small moment of softening, small moment of awareness?